Can you hear that? Those aren't birds chirping, those are birds singing in joy. Because here on Ignition GT this week, we are saving the planet, and they are saying thank you because we are driving the all-electric BMW i3. Yes, I've been rather outspoken around the fact that electric will just never work in South Africa, and two manufacturers have disagreed with me, Nissan and BMW, boldly bringing these vehicles to our market. So a few years ago, when they first brought i3 out, BMW gave us one to drive, and they gave us the Rex, the one with the small petrol engine, the range extender, just to ease our anxiety. But now that they have updated the i3, we've decided to go boldly full electric and find out for real and genuine in our environment, is an electric car a viable option? Let's find out. Anybody got an extension cable? When the i3 was launched, it obviously wasn't as universally popular as most BMW models, but it was bold and different. It sparked debate, and that is probably what BMW wanted all along. They wanted their electric car to push boundaries and of course to grab the attention of those who doubted the future of mobility. Now, while it does remain a rare sight on our roads, the public's reaction to the i3 and its purpose is more accepting now than ever before. Now there's a facelifted version which has seen a number of small tweaks to the exterior, the most noticeable being the redesign on the front bumper, where horizontal LED slits replace the circular fog lights of the previous version. The rear has seen fewer revisions, while the front and rear aprons have been restyled to give the impression of a wider, sportier stance. Speaking of sporty, other markets can get their hands on the i3S, which uses the 28 kilowatt 2-cylinder power plant and battery combination you find in the i3 Rex, but the power has been increased by 10 kilowatts and 20 newton meters to produce a total 135 kilowatts and 270 newton meters of torque. The i3S also enjoys a 10mm drop in ride height and an additional 14mm track width. We are still waiting to hear whether the i3S will ever reach our shores. Moving on to the inside, and the facelifted i3 has an identical interior to its predecessor, with 80% of all materials being of the recycled and renewable kind. Very good. We can't help but feel that this interior is starting to show its age compared to newer models out of Munich, particularly when considering the tedious task of connecting to the Apple CarPlay, which isn't standard by the way. Neither is the navigation system. Nonetheless, the cabin feels light and airy and quite a unique feeling place to sit in, which is certainly welcomed, especially with the amount of driving I have ahead of me. Right, let's start our electric journey in drive. Can't hear it, but it is on, I promise you. Because I'm in the city, I'm going to put it into Eco Pro. I've got Eco Pro Plus as well, but I do want a bit of aircon blowing. Range is 179 kilometers, and I've got a meeting at the Westcliff. Let's see how we go. It's not bad, eh? So that trip, almost 10 kilometers, and my range, 177. So I've used 2Ks. Not bad at all. It really does work well in the city, and that'll climb up to Westcliff is pretty steep as well. That's a good start. Right, so we've just left the Westcliff. This is going to be the real challenge. I know I am crazy. It is 4 o'clock. I've got a parcel to drop off in Parkhurst. And then I'm going to go to Menden-on-Main for dinner. So I'm going to be in peak crazy traffic. It's probably going to be like a 2-hour trip to do the 60-odd Ks. What is interesting is my range was on 177. It's dropped down to 167 because I was fiddling around with the different modes while I was parked at the Westcliff. Just figuring out how the aircon works when I go into Eco and Eco Pro Plus and those type of things. So let's have a look. This is going to be the true test of our range, but also exactly where the BEV wants to live, bumper to bumper traffic. Now, While I commence with my lengthy commute, let's quickly touch on those driving modes that I mentioned earlier. The BMW i3 has 3 modes: Comfort, Eco Pro and Eco Pro Plus. The default setting in the i3 is Comfort mode, where you can expect a range of approximately 160 kilometers with no electronic nannies trying to inhibit your driving style. Eco Pro increases the driving range by approximately 12% by limiting the amount of power produced through complex accelerator mapping. Finally, you have Eco Pro Plus, which restricts you to a maximum speed of 90 kilometers an hour, and you have to do with the no air conditioning and a few other battery sapping electronics. However, your range is increased by a further 24% in this mode. Anyway, back to my journey, and after a 6.2 kilometer trip to the suburb of Parkhurst, my range had actually increased from 167 kilometers to 182 kilometers. With an extra 15 kilometers of range, I was feeling confident that I will experience no range anxiety on my trip to the Pretoria suburb of Menlyn. The 63.7 kilometer journey, which comprised mostly gridlocked traffic on the highway, the i3 used just 65 kilometers of range, bringing my total remaining range to 117 kilometers. However, the 50.3 kilometer commute back to my hotel in Melrose Arch was mainly free-flowing highway driving, where we noticed that the i3's range suffered when driving at the national speed limit, as this resulted in excessive battery use. Thankfully, Melrose Arch was equipped with a charging point where I can give the depleted battery some life for tomorrow's commute. But there's a problem. So the reality remains that you are going to need one of these. A plug point at home or at your place of work, preferably both, to make a car like BMW's i3 a reality. Yes, there are a lot of charging points out there, but the problem is we've got to take the charging points to the people, not the people to the charging points. So most of them are at BMW dealerships, not like last night at Melrose Arch. We need more of that, where I could park my car, swipe my card, charge it overnight, in the morning, ready to go again. That needs to be expanded on. But you know, our driving conditions are pretty unique and not really ideally suited to a car like the i3, because we do long distances and we do speeds in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. So that was our challenge. Would we have range anxiety in the BEV? And can I tell you, driving over 150 k's yesterday, wasn't concerned in the slightest. Finished the end of day commute with 30 kilometers of range left. We did more than what the average Gautenger does on a daily commute. It worked exceptionally well. And I love the way an electrified car drives. That brake retardation means I never ever have to use the brake. And what is also cool is it does change your attitude towards driving. You're way more conservative in your driving approach and aware of your efficiencies. But I think probably right now, the biggest selling point for the i3 is the fuel price. The idea of having never ever to put in petrol again, wow, that sounds good.